Hello, dear friends. The only authority a government has is that granted to it by the people, because all power emanates from the people. Opinion piece. End of current model. Change of leadership. Cracks in the old order. Asset-backed financing. Financial nuclear bomb. Change of the old guard. The fiat model is faltering. A new system is underway. Economic model transition. Systemic change underway. Realignment of global power. Global financial restructuring. The fiat system's tipping point. Not instantaneous, but gradual. The pieces are falling into place. Out with the old, in with the new. Let's start. The current financial system is in a slow process of demolition due to corruption and abuse of the central banking system, according to renowned Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. Change will not be immediate. It will depend on the maturity and individual responsibility of each human being to manage his or her, obviously, to manage their own wealth. The transition to financial autonomy requires everyone to learn to manage their assets, facing the responsibility and challenge of self-sufficiency. Alex emphasizes that this transformation is not instantaneous, but a gradual transition that requires responsibility and maturity from each individual. As human beings gain greater freedom to manage their own assets, the challenge is to move forward responsibility, financial wisdom, and community collaboration. However, despite the challenges, Alex remains optimistic. He believes that humanity has the opportunity to build a freer and more empowered financial future. Collier affirms that blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and precious metals will be the foundations of the new global financial system, leading humanity toward greater freedom and self-sufficiency, but cautions that this transition requires responsibility and a gradual break with the traditional banking system. He also emphasizes the need for community collaboration and the abandonment of the victim paradigm of bank control. Collier does not offer information on how to buy cryptocurrencies, but rather a spiritual perspective on the systemic change underway. He explains that while the new system may still be rooted in the old, blockchain and cryptocurrencies will play a pivotal role in granting individuals greater sovereignty over their wealth. Unlike traditional bank accounts, blockchain-based assets exist outside of direct bank control, a key step in overcoming dependence on centralized institutions. He also highlights the growing importance of gold and silver as fundamental elements of value. Precious metals are re-emerging as crucial safeguards in times of uncertainty, offering stability as traditional banking structures come under increasing pressure. In his view, banks are trapped in financial derivatives, representing an economic nuclear bomb that justifies the migration to blockchain as a means for protecting individual wealth. Gold and silver will once again occupy a key place as a backstop for value. Central banks are buying gold at historic levels. Collier sees these metals as a guarantee of stability in the face of the collapse of the traditional banking system and manipulation of the silver market. Economy. China has made the gold yuan tradable on the Shanghai exchanges, so you can receive it in Hong Kong or soon in Saudi Arabia. This will be huge. Russia is buying silver from its reserves. This is monumental. Silver is a small market compared to gold, but it's now trading at a 14-year high. When a central bank makes inroads into such a small and strategic metal, it's felt strongly. The European Central Bank is announcing its next move, and the US is putting economic pieces in place to counter it. They want to implement the central bank digital currency and fully control the population. President Trump has implemented the necessary countermeasures to stop this project, and interest rates are already being lowered in Europe. Seeds of wisdom. Out with the old, in with the new. Global changes point toward an asset-backed reset. Political turmoil, social unrest, and financial instability are converging to push nations towards systems backed by gold and commodities. Around the world, nations are experiencing political turbulence and financial tensions. These are examples of economic shocks that reflect a deeper systemic change. France has faced mass protest, a leadership under pressure, and demands for a new constitution as frustration with EU policies mounts. Other countries are showing similar signs. Germany, economic slowdown and challenges of energy dependence. Italy and Spain, political instability and growing nationalist movements. The UK, post-Brexit financial stress, leadership change and a battle with inflation. And the US, debt crisis, Fed scrutiny and debate over digital dollar. The common theme is clear. Traditional governance and fiat-based economic systems are under pressure, and the population is rejecting business as usual. Public frustration is no longer limited to economic grievances. It is spilling over into the streets. Decades of debt-driven monetary policy and central bank dominance appear to be reaching their limit. Nations burdened by unsustainable debt are approaching default. Cracks in the fiat model are accelerating the search for alternatives. Financing. The BRICS are openly promoting the settlement of gold-backed transactions. Commodities, gold and oil, are re-emerging as pillars of global exchange, replacing the paper promises of fiat currencies. This transition is not only financial, but also political. In France, the potential collapse of the Fifth Republic could pave the way for a Sixth Republic, shaped by new economic alignments, perhaps closer to the BRICS models. The shift from the old guard to the new system is underway, with a realignment of global power waning from the G7, the IMF, and the Bank for International Settlements. In contrast, sovereign wealth funds are asset-backed currencies, are gaining ground. Central banks face great pressure to adapt now that gold is recognized as Tier 1 asset under Basel III and IV standards. The change in leadership is only scratching the surface. The most profound transformation lies in the control of money and credit. If a country like France reorients its financial system, the repercussions could reshape the EU, NATO, and the global balance of power. Evidence. There is undeniable evidence of instability, widespread protests, resignations, assassinations, and the rise of the BRICS gold-based trading mechanisms. Citizens are openly challenging their governments, while their positions shift financially and diplomatically. While the governments change their positions, that's what I wanted to say. However, while the pieces of a new financial order are falling into place, there is no definitive evidence that a single coordinated system is ready for immediate implementation. Global change, marked by negotiations and speculation, continues. From Europe to the US to the BRICS, the story is the same. The old financial model is faltering, and asset-backed systems are emerging as the next chapter in global finance. The uprisings in London and Spain are not isolated events, but symptoms of a deeper rupture between governments, people, and the financial order that underpins them. The world could soon witness a coordinated reset where sovereignty, real assets, and multiple structures replace the debt-based order of the past. This is not just politics, but a global financial restructuring before our eyes. Full thought summary. Benjamin Fulford believes that the psychological operation surrounding the Charlie Kirk murder distract from the Epstein cover-up. He argues that this psychodrama was also used to distract from anti-government demonstrations in the UK, France, South Korea, and elsewhere. Whatever happens, the White Hats have Epstein's flight records, and they are hunting down every visitor to this island as an accomplice to mass murder. Colonel Douglas MacGregor is cancelling open-air talks after learning he's on the Ukrainian Secret Service's top 10 target list. The colonel is now under the protection of the Dragon family. London's original inhabitants are leaving the city due to crime. The situation is so dire that 72% of young Britons are considering emigrating. Many are moving to Poland and others to Spain. France has a $300 billion debt that it must repay in the coming months, but will be unable to do so due to its low credit rating. This means that regime changes is likely. Marine Le Pen says France will close extremist mosques and expel extremists. She will punish those who spread hate. Universities are becoming debt slavery plantations. Students graduate with tens of thousands of dollars in debt that cannot be discharged through bankruptcy. Graduates are being trained to obey artificial intelligence and not think for themselves. Albania has appointed an artificial intelligence as Minister of Public Procurement to prevent corruption. China is urging the construction of a more just and equitable system of global governance and progress toward a community of shared future for humankind. The drums of war are beating loudest in Europe, according to Rinus Verhagen. 350,000 civilians forcibly displaced in the latest attack on Gaza City. Beyond Bluebeam, why does the Earth have a $315 trillion debt if we have all the resources available? China develops a revolutionary nuclear battery that can last 50 years without recharging. Russia wants the US that it is exploiting the world's cryptocurrency users to pay off its exorbitant $35 trillion debt. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has ordered provincial authorities not to cooperate with the Canadian government's firearm confiscation plan. Jim Carrey says there is no self. We are an energy field dancing to itself. Teleportation is a holographic reality. It's not about breaking physics, but about instantly changing your location in the holographic representation, shifting your point of awareness or assemblage point, as Carlos Castaneda called it. Radar footage shows a Hellfire missile bouncing off a UFO over the ocean. It had a protective shield activated. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.